So, welcome to the show. The State of Our Economy is a discussion program on central life in where experts and junior experts exchange substantial knowledge about the Ghanaian economy. You know, the economy is something that affects all of us. It concerns our jobs, our earnings, our sika. Is that correct? Our sika.
Sika.
Whether or not we can take care of our basic needs. And on this program, we will talk about these things in a way that is understandable for all of us. And I do that with Mr. Kofi Korle, a lecturer in economics here at Central University. Welcome.
Thank you.
Lauretta Mensah Kekeli, a fresh new graduate from economics.
Hello.
Hello, nice to see you again.
Yeah.
And we also have here Derrick, Dotse, Demor, also a CU alumnus from the Department of Economics.
Thank you.
And I'm your host, Liesbeth Tjon-A-Meeuw. Akwaba to all of you. So for our first discussion, we would like to dive into the issue of inflation and unemployment. We have a situation where our fuel prices are rising, right? We went from last year in October, it was 4.85 Ghana cedis per liter. And now it has become 6 Ghana cedis 0.51 for 1 liter of oil. So the question is the fuel price a good indication of how well or bad our economy is doing? What does it mean when the fuel price goes high? Right now, it is rising, right?
Yes, it's the data available to us. It shows an increment in the prices of this thing, fuel per liter or per gallon. Generally, every economy is expected to grow. Every economy activities and economy is expected to increase. So if the prices of fuel is increasing, that doesn't necessarily reflect an economic growth, though it shows to the best of my knowledge that the economy is working and it's good.
Lauretta?
Yeah, we can also say that the fuel prices on their own cannot be an indicator of the health of an economy, because even if it can affect the economy, you cannot look at it as a single indicator to say that the economy is going bad or is not going well, because the prices can increase due to many reasons, and they can also affect the economy in different ways. So we have to be very careful when we look at the fuel prices. So you cannot take it as a single indicator for the health of an economy.
Okay.
Okay, and to add to that, we know that fuel prices are mainly influenced by global economic events and other political tensions, especially in the Middle East. So the world price of crude oil, which we refine to obtain our final product, that's the fuel at the pumps, they are mostly influenced by global economic and political events. When there are tensions in the global areas where oil production is very high, it tends to affect the world market price. So when production falls, world market prices will increase, and this will affect individual countries across the globe. So the rise in fuel prices is not an indicator of the economic performance or growth of an independent economy. And more so, within domestic economies, we have what we call the marketing margin. That's the processes that translate the crude oil into the final or the finished product. If there are a lot of activities in between, then it will tend to reflect in higher fuel prices, which has nothing to do with economic growth per se. So levies, taxes, and then profit margins affect the fuel prices that we see. So the movement in fuel prices has nothing to do with the economic growth of individual countries across the globe.
Okay. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, but
Okay.
suffice me to say that because every facet of the economy is basically influenced by a lot of movements. So there are a lot of payments to transportation costs, and then a lot of factories run on a lot of these engines. So people ideally will feel the harsh impact of an increase in this
Fuel
fuel
prices.
prices, but it doesn't necessarily, as Mr. Kofi Korle said and then Lauretta added, that it doesn't necessarily translate into whether the economy is growing or declining. Thank you.
Then what about our currency, our Ghana cedi? Is that a good indicator whether or not our economy is doing well, in the sense that, what we can buy with our 10 Ghana cedis, or with what we can buy with 100 Ghana cedis? So that's the real value of our currency, right? So what about that? Is that a good indicator?
Yeah, the real value of a currency will be better in order to measure the health of an economy, because at least when you are looking at the currency, you can see what you can buy with it, and when you look at that, it's easier to measure, because your the money will cross across, it will go across all the sectors of the economy. So whether you are a teacher or you're a student, or it's something that you really really feel, so that one will be a good indicator. I think if they tell you that 100 cedis now can buy this amount of things, and in the past you could buy this, you can actually see what is happening to your money and what is happening in the economy.
Exactly. Mr. Korle, do you want to add
Good.
something to that?
So the value of the Ghana cedi is better reflected in the amount of goods and services that ordinary Ghanaians can buy with a unit of a Ghana cedi in their hands or in their pockets. Most of the times we try to confuse the face value of the currency with the real value. The face value is just the nominal figure quoted on the note. Let's say a 50 cedi note or a 100 cedi note. Now, with time, as Ghanaians, we know that what a cedi can buy today will not be able to buy, let's say, for a particular item in the future or tomorrow. For instance, if we look at sachet water that we consume, it used to sell at 10 pesos. Okay, but now it's selling at 20 pesos. But it's the same quantum, volume of water that we are enjoying. So that should tell us that the real value of our cedi or of our money is better reflected in what we can actually buy or acquire from a unit of money that we have. So experience has shown us as citizens that normally what a cedi can afford today will not be able to afford the same quantum tomorrow. So as Ghanaians, we have to rather look at the real value instead of the face value of our currency. The face value does not reflect the cost of living, but the real value rather reflects the cost of living over time.
Okay. Thank you for that. So our President Akufo-Addo, recently made a speech in where he said that the Ghana economy has recovered from the lockdown. We had the pandemic. It's still current, but he said that our economy is growing again, and that it's even still one of the fastest growing economies in the world. So is that something we can believe? Is it correct, that statement?
Okay. All right. So if he said this somewhere around December 2020, he would have been telling us he would have been making a false statement. But according to the data available from the internet, specifically to tradingeconomics.com, our economy as it stands now is going at 3.9%. So it is, yes, we are in July 2021. Sorry, we are in September 2021.
Quarter,
but
the last quarter.
okay, so we are talking about the last quarter. So the third quarter for 2021, we experienced a 3.9% growth. So if the president made such a statement, it's true in that light. But looking at how the economy suffered during the pandemic, and this was across board, the entire globe, no single country experienced growth. But then how you bounce back after a fall is what determines how successful you are. So if you look at the Ghanaian economy, we have done quite well. We are doing well, especially with the various policy implications that the current government has brought about, like the COVID levy, to mitigate the impact of the COVID-19 by giving the free water and then the free light. That it was a good policy. And then other policies, not which I know of now, but the COVID levy tax, I know is coming to generate income for that excessive spending that was done by the government during the COVID-19 period. So it is true, exactly as he says, that the economy of Ghana is growing.
So good, we can be optimistic. Lauretta, are you also optimistic?
Yes, I am, because the growth is positive this time of the year, but also we always have to be careful with those kind of numbers, because it's very easy to say that the growth rate was 3% this year, it was 8% the other year, but it's not so evident for people to actually feel that growth, because maybe it's coming from a single sector, it's coming from, we receive a lot of foreign aid and everything, so all of this accounts into it. So sometimes it can be very deceiving. That's why when we are analyzing the growth of the country, we have to pay a very good attention into where is the money coming from, which sector is actually developing from it. But Derrick said, we are coming back from a crisis. So if the numbers are actually showing that things are going well, I think businesses are reopening, people are reinvesting and everything. So this is what is actually showing up, and this is what the president is talking about. So I think we actually have good reasons to be optimistic about the economy.
Mr. Korle, what do you think?
Yes, so the general macroeconomic environment also looks positive for such growth to be believed, okay, because interest rates are quite stable, low, inflation is also low, and so the general macroeconomic environment is good to support such a positive growth outlook. So we still have to do more. We have to vaccinate the entire population so that we will get fully back into normal businesses, because as at now there is still the fear of the pandemic, because a large proportion of the population is unvaccinated. If we want to enhance these gains, if we want to make the gains even better, then we are supposed to vaccinate a larger proportion of the population so that it will build upon the little gains that we are making at the moment.
Sorry, what did you say,
I said
Lauretta?
people should go and get vaccinated.
Okay.
Won't hurt you.
Okay. So you're in favor of vaccination. Too bad we don't have a discussion about that.
Yeah.
Okay,
But-
but I'm not cutting you, but for the economy to grow and grow well, as Sir made mention of, it will be very right if everyone in the economy subject
Is
himself to
healthy.
get. Is healthy. Is healthy. So we would urge everyone to go out and get vaccinated so that our economy will get back to normal times for we to experience that growth we are all looking for as a country.
Exactly. Okay, I get your point now. So do your figures, Derrick, however, do your figures also say something about, does it also give a rate for the for employment?
Okay.
Unemployment, is there an unemployment rate or?
Okay, I could just toggle it from Google right now.
Okay, sure.
I
Yes.
must say that the unemployment rate in the country, we get accurate figure of the rate of unemployment.
We don't or we
Everything-
do?
We get accurate indication or measurement of unemployment after every census we conduct. That's where statistical service enumerators are able to interview every Ghanaian. And we know that unemployment is a technical term. It's not merely the fact that an individual has no work to do. It goes beyond that. So for us to get a true measure of the rate of unemployment, we need to interview every Ghanaian. And we get opportunity to do that only during censuses. We conduct censuses every 10 years. Away from census years, we only use perceptions. We just try and use statistical means to get a fair idea of the rate of unemployment. So we are waiting for the statistical service to tell us from the recent census conducted the true or actual rate of unemployment in the economy. But as at now, figures that are reported are just perceptions. Okay.
But I have a question about that though. If the census is only taking place every 10
10
years, does that mean that we have an employment rate for every 10 years, or does that mean that every year we update that employment rate?
Yes,
We're
so-
able to update that
so
figure.
If, for instance, 2020, we get the true measurement of the rate of unemployment for 2020, then we will use statistical techniques to adjust it for 2021, 2022, up to 2029, before in 2030 we conduct another census again to get the true accurate figure again.
Okay.
So, and it's quite difficult for us as a country in planning the economy and also what kind of policies we can put in place to address unemployment, because we hardly collect data on unemployment to help inform policy measures that we want to undertake to address unemployment.
So Derrick, what is the figure now?
Okay, so looking closely at what I have from statista.com, in 2010, when the major population census was conducted, the unemployment rate was 5.32%. 5.32%.
Is that high or
And
low?
then it's okay.
It's quite
It's
low,
it's
but-
quite low. It's quite low. But then looking at the data, you realize that there was a growth in the unemployment rate. There was a rise in unemployment rate from in the subsequent years. So you realize that 2011 it moved to 5.62%, and then 5.94 for 2012, and then 6.27 for 2013. Then to 2015 it moved to 6.81. Then it fell from 6.81 to 4.22% in 2017. Then to 2019 4.12%. But the data is
It's quite
shocking me a
questionable.
bit, because in 2020 the whole economy, I mean the whole economy was virtually shut down, and we are seeing a rise from 4.12% to 4.53% in 2020. So as I said, these are just statistical adjustments. Let's just wait for 2021 to for the statistical department to bring out the true reflection of the unemployment
Yeah,
rate, so
let's
that
wait
we
for
can
the census.
But that notwithstanding, I think it's still quite low as a country. 4.12% is okay.
You also mentioned, Mr. Korle, you mentioned that also inflation is low. Before we start talk about that figure, what is the meaning of inflation? How is that been translated?
Okay, so inflation, as we hear in announcements and as statistical service report for us monthly, it's a measure of the average level of prices in the economy. It tells us how prices of goods and services in general, okay, how prices are rising, okay, over time. So the level of inflation in Ghana has nothing to do with a particular good per se. It is an average of a collection of several items of goods and services that a typical Ghanaian will consume. Okay. And for purposes of information, it is only giving us an indication. So if you are a citizen of this country, it is telling you the rates at which prices are going up on average, so that if you want to, let's say, protect your money from inflation, then it means you must put your money in an investment that will yield returns higher than the rate of inflation, because the rate of inflation is telling you in broad terms and in average terms how much prices, okay, are going up from time to time, and it is reported monthly. So moving from one month to another, it is telling us the rate at which price levels are going up.
So Lauretta, then I have an additional question to that. How does for instance, the market women here in Ghana, how are they affected by inflation? What do they experience?
The thing is, as Mr. Korle said, is that inflation is the rise in general prices, and it's not a one-time rise. It's something that is continuous. And most of the time, when you are buying, you will see it from them first, because they are the supply.
The market women.
Yeah, the market women. They are the ones who supply most of the goods that you find in the basket of goods that the statistical services analyze. Those let's say those tomatoes, water, all those simple stuff that you buy every day. It's those prices that they analyze. So the market woman will perceive inflation before everyone else, because she's the one selling to you. So she knows that today she can't sell at the same price as she was selling before. So the prices are going to increase and increase and increase. So she will be perceiving it in a way before other people. Yeah.
Okay. Derrick, you want to say something too, or?
Okay, but mine is much more on a very cynical side. I believe that market women are so inflation responsive. Like, they are so much alert on the very small changes in price in the input or the factors of production. So let's say they previously spent 50 cedis to acquire maybe goods from the farm. Now, when it comes to the market center, and due to a change from that 50 cedis to about 70 cedis, they realize that the olonka of Gary that you used to purchase at maybe 12 cedis, just within a space of 2 days or 3 days, just jumps to 15 cedis. And I mean, that gives you the general, a picture of what we are talking about when we say inflation. The general increasing, not individual though, but I use this one to just give us an analogy of how our market women perceive inflation, how they
really
react.
quick.
They are really
They are
quick.
faster than the statistical.
Statistical services
Yes,
or agencies. Yeah.
And
So
I always thought they were just making their own price. So
I think market women and transport operators, like our trotro mates, they say there's a saying that trotro mates, the increment or decrease in prices of transport is as a result of them. They increase it in their pocket before.
The thing is
they
that
transfer.
those
So
market women, they tend to just go with, demand and supply. If they have an amount for today and people come and buy, they tend to, even during that day, increase the price. Maybe the following day they will start with the normal prices again. Then they will see that people are still coming to buy and buy and buy. Then they will increase the price. Then the following day they'll be following that trend and that trend and that
and
trend.
then you realize that the prices are increasing.
Like that. So
it's true.
maybe every 3 days or 1 week or so, you see that like those prices are
going up.
Yes, and to add to that, we are talking about the general level of prices for goods and services, but actually there is inflation for a specific item. So if, let's say, a loaf of bread, if we take only bread, for instance, assuming bread is the only consumable in the economy, bread could also realize some level of inflation. Normally, what the statistical service report for us is the final breakdown of the average. But as a Ghanaian, every item you buy, you'll be observing some little increments in prices, and that increment could be even above the general price level. It could also be a bit lower than the general price level. If, for instance, let's say you go to a restaurant to buy food, in restaurants prices can increase far above the average inflation figure that the statistical service will report. Currently, for instance, it is 9.7%. That doesn't mean that if you go to a hotel or a restaurant to buy, let's say, food, the increment in the price will be 9.7%. It could be even 20% or 30%. So there is inflation for specific goods in the economy. But what statistical service reports is kind of an average. Okay, so taking everything together and finding the average. So that's why I said it is only an indicator. It tells you as a Ghanaian a rough figure of the rate at which prices are going up, but you may face a different level of inflation depending on the kind of good that you patronize or consume.
Let's look at what the rate is right now, inflation rate. Do we have a figure for that there as well?
For last month, 9.7%.
That's what I mentioned, that 9.6%. 9.6%.
Is that high or low or?
Very high.
Oh.
For the Ghanaian economy, it's quite
okay.
Yes, you can take it to be mild.
But in comparison with developed economies,
yes,
the thing
is quite relatively high.
Those indicators can never be taken like on their own. They take place in settings. You cannot compare, Derrick. Listen, you cannot compare like Ghana's inflation rate to maybe that of the US. It's not the same economy. It's not the same challenges.
But inflation is inflation.
No, because for example, Ghana is a developing country. So if prices stay the same, it's more or less a reflection of the fact that people are not consuming and producing like before, because they need people that get money will start buying more, and as they buy more with the state that at which things are, prices will go up then down. Like they'll be having those up and down still,
the business cycle
till it's stabilized. So you can never just say, oh, it's 10%. It's too. So what should it be? 1%, 3%? You can never say.
No,
You
you
have to
see,
analyze it in
as
the
Sir
bigger
rightly
picture.
said, you see, Sir said that there are individual inflations. Okay, maybe the 9% will not actually reflect in the increment of price from, let's say, 1 cedi to 2 cedi. Maybe it will be more than that's 9%, 9.6%.
But you said that the 9 cities was too much.
The 9%, 9.6% is high.
Why? How?
In the Ghanaian context, 9.67% is very low. In a Ghanaian context, is quite. Once it is still within single digits levels, we see it to be a good performance.
Yes,
That's why for monetary authorities to put in place policies to achieve such a rate of inflation, it's commendable. But as Lauretta, colleague, is saying, we cannot compare such figures between developing and developed countries.
Yes, sir.
In developed countries, interest rates, some are even in negatives.
Yes, sir.
And it's all because their rate of inflation is also very low.
Okay.
Normally, we look at the spread between inflation and then interest rate. Ghana, for instance, the level of inflation is 9.6 or 9.7. It's all because the level of interest rate is also quite high. So sometimes we cannot just compare developing countries when it comes to such figures, because it's in a different setting altogether.
Okay, sir. I appreciate.
Their rates of interest rate are also very low, and it moves along their rates of inflation. So that's why we are also having such a quite relatively high level of inflation.
I appreciate that.
I think Derrick wants to say something, so you can go ahead.
It's in relation to what Lauretta is saying. I appreciate what Sir said, but I'm saying that the way I feel inflation in my pocket is different from what our authorities are quoting. You understand? So if I take a taxi from here to hostel, it used to be 7 cedis back in 2017, and then now in 2021 it's 15 cedis.
It's double.
It's way double, and it's very harsh, and it's very expensive to me. So that is how I feel inflation. That is how we students will appreciate inflation. That is how the layman will understand inflation. But if we continuously quote 9.6% to them, the thing is, how do they feel the impact of the inflation in their pocket? I don't know. 2 cups. Champion used to sell their fried a scoop of rice for 1 cedis. Now a scoop of rice is 2 cedis.
It was 1 cedi.
It was 1 cedi.
It was 2 cedis.
No, it was 1 cedi when I came to school in 2017. Now it's 2 cedis. Now it's 3 cedis. So you should appreciate that things are really going up astronomically. And when I'm saying that real, not book or statistically or website or no. Let's appreciate the real impact,
the real
value of inflation in the pocket of students. And we are feeling it. Our parents may not appreciate the fact that inflation affected, but we know that if I'm spending 100 cedis previously in 2017, today the 100 cedis I'm spending will comparatively be like 60 cedis in 60 cedis now. I don't know whether I get it. I used to spend 100 cedis then, but you're still giving me 100 cedis now. It looks like 60 cedis to me, because the amount of goods that I can purchase with 100 cedis then is what I'm purchasing with the same 100 cedis, but like 60 cedis worth of value. I don't know whether you're getting it.
Yeah.
So Lauretta should appreciate the fact that yes, you might think is low, is good for the economy, but the residents of the economy are really feeling a very harsh impact.
Yes, but I'm not talking about an inflation rate over 5 years. That's one. When you compare it, of course, you are not going to feel it the same way. But between last month and this month, that's not when the prices doubled. You understand? So that's what we are talking about. So But I totally I agree with him because I can feel it too. I can really feel it too, especially when I have to change like currencies and I can't
Yes,
so,
because you come from Togo, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So can you even make a comparison between Togo and Ghana, the economy of Togo and the economy of Ghana?
The economy of Ghana is way healthier than the economy in Togo because at least here there is growth. There even if there is still a lot to do, there are like opportunities. There is growth. There you can see that efforts are being done. When you go back there, things are not really moving forward.
But
It
there's
feels
price
kind of
stability in Togo more than Ghana.
there is price stability at the cost of economic growth. So
Wouldn't you rather want to see a stable price, growth where prices are not moving as fast as in Ghana, but you are seeing development in Ghana? What would you rather want?
have you ever been to Togo? The thing is, if things become more expensive, but you are getting more money, that means that you can face the rate of inflation that is coming to you. Imagine prices are not moving, but even as prices are not moving, they were already expensive, and you didn't have enough money to purchase those goods anyway. Like you don't have hospitals, you don't have goods, you don't have high levels of incomes, you don't have good education, you don't have health. I would rather get all those things and get like a bit of price fluctuations than than just staying like
But
poverty.
if you have plenty money and you can't enjoy the money too.
Are you not enjoying your money in Ghana?
No, the impact is really hard on our pocket.
You are using an iPhone there. You are
But the
yourself.
iPhone is cracked. The screen is cracked. I can't fix it because the economy is hard.
Is it also so then that the rates of employment and unemployment and the rate of inflation are the good indicators of whether or not our economy is doing well, or can I not say it like that?
Yes. The rate of inflation and the rate of unemployment directly speaks to the performance, the growth of the economy. Usually, when the economy is growing, we will see some mild levels of inflation, healthy. Okay, inflation could be positive for the economy when it is mild and it is rather fueling businesses to produce more, then that is seen to be positive. So during moments of growth or expansion, we usually observe some mild levels of inflation. And during moments of recession, that's when there is economic downturn, we also see rising levels of unemployment. Okay, so then the rates of inflation, rates of unemployment could tell us about the performance of the economy.
Then what is the connection between inflation and unemployment? Is there a connection?
There is a connection between inflation and unemployment. So usually what happens is that when one goes up, the other goes down. So most of the time when unemployment decreases, inflation tends to go up. When unemployment goes up,
inflation falls.
yeah. So that's usually how they move along.
It's usually a unidirectional movement where inflation actually leads to causes high unemployment. You understand? Yeah.
Okay, let me add to what my colleague said. So there is a relationship, and the relationship is observed whenever policymakers try to address one problem at a time. For instance, government is trying to solve the severe levels of graduate unemployment in the economy now, and they've established the NAPCO. It's a temporary engagement whereby fresh graduates will see themselves engaged for a brief period as they keep searching for their permanent or career paths. It's something as a bridge gap for them. Now, government has to spend money on emoluments or remuneration for such graduates, and it's going to be a form of a rise in government expenditure. And in this economy, sometimes government expenditure, especially when it goes beyond its budget, fuels some level of inflation in the economy. So let's see the connection here. Government is trying to reduce unemployment by instituting the NAPCO program.
Yes.
And due to that, government is going to spend more, which is going to bring some mild level of inflation. So, of course, there is a connection, and this connection is seen immediately when policies are implemented. Okay. But then in the long term, when these policies have been observed over a period of time, this kind of relationship between inflation and unemployment seem not to be significant, that there is no relationship because the economy will absorb the imbalances that will arise due to policy. Okay, so it's usually a short-term phenomenon whereby we see an inverse relationship between inflation and unemployment. But in the long term, there is no relationship between inflation and unemployment.
So would you support a policy like that? For instance, the NAPCO program. Is that would that have your support? Is that really making a difference, or are you saying that in the long run it doesn't make a difference? So
I think I would think that it can make a difference now. So I'll be in support of it because who knows where we are going to be in the long run. So I will be in support of it, of course. But I think that the problem itself, it's for the graduate unemployment. It's deeper than simply. It's deeper than what the program is trying to do. It comes from people are not sometimes people feel like I just completed university. Sometimes companies feel like our education, it doesn't match what they need. They are not even on the market enough companies that actually require your services and everything. So sometimes, like, I feel like the problem is deeper than that, but at least it's trying to tackle it from an angle. So I'll still be in support of that.
I think you pointed out something very good here, because I'm wondering, when people say there are no jobs, I'm wondering if that is actually true. Are there really jobs, or is it because there are no jobs? The people who have graduated, they don't find the jobs that they have graduated in, or they don't find the work that they want to do. Yes. So it's more of a supply and demand, that the supply doesn't reach the demand, doesn't meet the demand.
Yes, I think so. I think most of the time that's something like that, because when you get an expensive degree in engineering and you continue your studies and everything, and you enter the job market, even if maybe the internships that you have to add to your experience, sometimes you enter the job market and there is no demand for what you are bringing for your skill. There is no demand for it, maybe, and you yourself, they will consider you overqualified because the job that they are going to give you and the amount of money that they are going to give you, it doesn't match your qualification, especially in the Ghanaian context. That's why a lot of people sometimes they look for
opportunities
outside. Yeah.
So basically, what she's trying to say is the economy is not expanding enough. It's not expanding enough for it to absorb the graduates that we are producing in this country. But as she's saying, it's deeper than what we are seeing or the interventions that government is trying to bring on board. As I said, the policy implications are short term. So if government is supposed to intervene in this kind of setting, then government is supposed to, bring out long-term measures so that the NAPCO is a 4-year stopgap. So after the 4 years, this these individuals or these graduates are supposed to exit the program with a skill. But I haven't seen any appraisal that has come on board, or any research that has brought their findings to say that these people who entered the program or entered the NAPCO program have genuinely gotten acquired some skills that will make them employable, or can make them let's say self-employable. They can employ themselves in an entrepreneurship program. I haven't seen any policy like that, but you see, or any research like that.
Yeah.
But you see, with unemployment and with graduate unemployment, as the previous president said, John Dramani Mahama, it is now is the time for we graduates to look within ourselves and look at our ingenuity, our creative skill to create something, so that with the requisite funding, I know government agencies like Maslock, who are there to provide finances. If only your skill, if only your enterprise it has a shot in the future. Let me just say that. So we have you have created a skill, or you have created a solution to a problem. So once you have created a solution to a problem, you need funding, right? So you visit any of these offices with such a let's say with such a plan, all right? So when they look at it and they consider it viable enough, then they will sponsor you. It happens, you understand? So I will encourage my fellow graduates like myself. Okay, I just sat down with a group of people, and right now we are looking at registering a business. Okay, I sincerely do not consider myself, let's say, a government employable character. Okay, I want to go the enterprising way, the entrepreneurial way. So we are looking at we have started talking on ways through which we can secure financing to make this dream of ours a reality. If we sit down, this is true talk. If we sit down and expect government policies to come and salvage the unemployment situation, especially with the graduate unemployment situation, then I beg to differ that it will take forever. The problem will still persist. Unemployment will still be there. Economists will preach that a certain level of unemployment is even good for the economy. But I'm not here preaching that. I'm here saying that if we are sitting as youth waiting for government policies to come and create jobs for us, then excuse me to say, we will sit down forever. Rather, we should look in depth, look at ways through which we can solve problems, and then get a very good business plan, secure funding from these relevant government agencies, then put that dream into a reality.
Mr. Korle, do
Yes.
you agree that we indeed need more entrepreneurs instead of creating?
Exactly, because the future in terms of job creation lies in the private sector. Government capacity to employ is quite limited. Population growth is very, very high, and government cannot be creating agencies, departments, and undertaking infrastructural projects as a means of expanding or creating jobs. They are more limited. So it's good nowadays. Government is trying to team up with the private sector in public private partnerships to help address the issue of unemployment. But as our students rightly said, it's now up to individuals, okay, especially those who have received some kind of education and acquired some skills, to try study the economy, look around their environment, and try to solve problems, okay, think aloud. The solution to a problem could be an avenue for job creation. Okay, so let's think outside the box and help the economy grow.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, with these final words, we have come to an end of our discussion. I want to thank our beautiful guests, our young and senior experts on the economy. I want to thank Lauretta, Mensah, Kekeli for coming.
It was my pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
As an alumni, you can always come back, of course. Do stay in touch with us.
I will.
And I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And I want to thank Derrick, Dotse, Demor.
Yes.
Was it correct?
Yeah.
Oh,
You had it
thank
right this time around.
God. You also all the best. I will probably see you around.
Yes, ma'am. You take me around. Anytime you want me, you call me. Papa.
Sure. And I want to thank Mr. Kofi Korle for coming. I hope you will do this again with a set of other students maybe.
Okay.
But this was really a great discussion. All of your contribution. I enjoyed it. I hope you liked it too.
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
And we will see each other very soon.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You are listening to Central Life nowadays, every day, all day.